works well and we start streaming and recording from here. It is so good to see all of you. I am just going to do a little bit of admin at the end and then we will continue. Okay, excellent. Um, can we edit? Do bear, bear with me. Hmm, I thought all these things were in place. Apparently not. So again, bear with me. I am trying to do the back end we would be able to do. Yeah, there we go. Um, youtube.com/Amanson1. I am getting round to doing these things. Okay, switch account. View all channels. With that many channels. Okay, fine. Let's switch account. Here I was thinking that I was very organized, but apparently I'm not. If you are on, my greetings. I hope your day is going well. I hope. For me, it is morning, so it's a good morning from me. I pray that yours is also just as good. Um, okay, let's get a verification code. Normally, when I do this, it lets me verify straight from here on any of the Google apps. But today, I let me not be distracted by that too much. We will go and figure out the rest of that as we go along. Good morning, Facebook. Can you see me? If you can see me, please say something for me in the comments so I can see that I am visible. Hello, YouTube. Can you see me? Yeah, it is this summer, and I anticipate that we will be back down to a lot more of these things. We will do more live videos. I will have more content on the platforms. Hopefully, it will be more cross platform content also. So there are things that come up in my community, and when they do, people come to me and say that you've got to do something about it. You've got to say something about it. You can't ignore it. And those of you who said that, you will see that I am very and those of you who said that, three things, but I'm going to start with this one. Table. I don't know. I don't see any evidence that this has actually gone live. That's why. Okay. At least Facebook is live. There we go. All right. Cool. I need, so this is a new streamer. It requires time to get used to. I'm not seeing the live interactions here the way I'm used to on the other one. That's why it seemed a bit static to me. But anyway, there is a development in Ghana. And if it hasn't kicked off in the other places, I know that it will be in Nigeria. Certainly, it will be in South Africa. I expect that this will be in Jamaica. it would be in a lot of the places where our young people have got a particular behavior that I have an issue with. And I wish that everybody would have an issue with. And I pray that everybody would discuss this with our young people and help them to understand the reality of the situation and actually move forward from here. And it's Ovan. Good morning. I'm glad you are here. You are a good buffer test. I know it's working. I can see your comments. So, in Ghana at the moment, there is a whole thing going on, and the FBI seems to have opened a branch in Ghana. The FBI has opened a branch in Ghana because there's something that we all have known for a while. A lot of us have known for a while. As much as I wish it wasn't true, I know that I cannot deny it. I know that I cannot deny it. And I won't even attempt to do it. The FBI are in Ghana, and rumor has it that they have picked up some big guns, mm, big boys. That is a very common notion in Ghana. The big boys, funnily enough, are not exactly very educated people. Not typically. The big boys in Ghana don't have any businesses that we know, or if they have businesses subsequent to becoming big boys. I was talking to somebody I know. The person was in the UK, and the person was telling me that he was a bus driver in Croydon. And then they made their money and they went to Ghana and started a transport business and started a this business and started a that business. And as the person spoke, I mean, my face is something I can't really control. As the person spoke, they could tell from my face it was bollocks. I thought it was bollocks. They knew that I thought it was bollocks from looking at my face. And the person was like, well, yeah, they pay well as a bus driver, da 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 da. At some point, I couldn't contain myself. And I said to the person, well, I was a teacher in the UK for many years. I wasn't just a teacher, I was a triple specialist teacher. So, actually, in terms of teaching, in terms of pay skills, I actually did wield a bit of influence on what I got. I went into management with TLR points, sitting on top of a lot of things quite comfortably. That would mean a very, very good salary from the domain I come from, good salary. But I couldn't start a transport business in the UK. I could not. Why? Because the way the UK is set up, even your good income, no matter what this good income is, it's going to be logged in. It's going to be, some of it is going to go into taxes. Some of it is going to go into this and going to go into that. By the time those things happen, your take home pay is not a lot. To go and take a loan, you probably could take a loan. I mean, you could take a personal loan up to unsecured loan up to 25,000. I don't know if the limits have changed since I left working in the financial industry many, many, many decades ago. However, it used to be at that time that personal loans were limited up to 25,000. You could get secured loans of a little bit more. But if you were to take a personal loan of 25,000, most of your income will be wiped. Your lifestyle is going to be thwarted. And starting a transport business is not a 25,000 pound issue. Mm-mm. How many buses can you buy with 25,000 pounds? How many buses can you buy? Oh, yeah, Van. I think as a sovereign state, if incidents, because we have international cooperation, that's why extradition and a lot of things exist. We do have international cooperation agreements. So, yeah, oh, yeah, we definitely should with some of our people. And yeah, we should certainly collaborate with places. The US has a specific interest because for some reason they are more targeted than any other country in our people and this particular behavior, a lot of the people involved are American. Let me put this out here. I also think that the American people are greedy. Mm. I think the American people are also exploitative. They want to exploit our people. Uh-huh. And sometimes when you get into the cat and mouse game, the mouse is faster than the cat. And there are some mice which have very sharp teeth, which I think is what happens in a lot of these situations. The mice from our place, they have teeth, and their teeth are sharp. You okay? I don't know what. Mice confused. The cat doesn't know how the mice is escaping. Yeah. So, Van, there's a lot of conversation around this thing. It's not one dimensional. But yeah, I think sovereign states need to collaborate. Sovereign states need to collaborate so that those who cause issues, who cause problems for these sovereign states can be addressed, because these things are not, it's not possible for one state to do it. If an American were to do some things that were of interest to my people, I will not expect America to shield them. I will expect America to grant access and let my people deal with the situation which concerns us. In the same way, I expect my people to grant access and let America deal with the people, with the issues that concern them. I do. All right. Can you guys help? Hold on a second. Let me get on and let me test, because my network is not networking much. Okay, so it's working. Good. Good. It's working. So, last consideration is some AC. It is the end of June in a desert. So, guess what? We is cooking. Hmm? Mhm. Now we are finally settled. Let's talk about these things. I've always said to people, and it's always been my position, hard work pays, but hard work pays to where we are at. Internet, stop doing this. Within the confines of my paid income, including the businesses, the legitimate businesses I run. Well, I don't know, Van. It may be a one-way command. It may not be a one-way command. But in the interest for us to make, and those of you who are concerned about how I don't clean my screens, let me clean it. I've just looked on here and I've seen how bad the thing is. So yeah, if we have an issue, we will expect cooperation. Well, that means when other people have an issue, we should deliver are in very technical jobs. They are paid very well. So here, a lot of people here who are big boys, they are in oil and gas. When you meet them, and they are in oil and gas, and they are big boys. See, it makes sense. It makes sense. A lot of them started working in oil and gas, and some of them got contracts and went off and set off on their own. When you follow their trajectory, it is logical. It makes sense for them to be big players in oil and gas. There's a young guy I know, he's 37. He is commanding a lot of money because he delivers. So you see these private yachts that people have, he delivers fuel to these people. And yeah, he delivers fuel. He's got almost monopoly in the regions he delivers in. Again, the first time, hi Charles, the first time somebody says, oh, this person is in this business, the car he drove made sense. Mm, mm. His spending habits made sense. It makes sense. He's not exactly the most educated, but he has a business. And he has a business in an area which makes sense. And there are people who knew him when he worked for an oil company in a lower rank. But he worked and he got in contact with people who dealt in this distribution business, and they brought him in. People have seen him start his distribution. There is a lot of things around. You go to social media, you see the business and where the business starts. The person is a big boy now, but there is a trajectory that you can track for this big boy. Mm. So if you went and somebody was an astronaut, and an astronaut was driving a particular kind of car, it would make sense because his salary as an astronaut would not be comparable to my salary as a teacher. Mhm. Me as a teacher in an old Toyota Fortuner, it makes a lot of sense. It is an old Toyota Fortuner I bought quite a number of years ago. Mm. And yeah, here, my salary is enough to be able to get a Toyota Fortuner and to pay the Toyota Fortuner. And use it to buy my salary, buy the credit factor here. It would make sense. Actually, a Toyota Fortuner is right up my street. It is in my bracket. I can afford it. And I bought it. So when I drive my Toyota Fortuner and I go places and people see that I am a teacher, they look at me and there's nothing strange. It makes sense. Teachers can drive Toyota Fortuners. The ones who drive Nissan Patrol Nisma, now those are aspirational. Yeah, that's pushing it a little bit. Yeah. If a teacher turned up in a Lambo, there has to be questions asked about a teacher with nothing else in a Lambo. Because when you do the credit assessments and you multiply our salaries by the credit factor, you will not get in the range of a Lambo. There was a teacher who drove a Nissan Patrol a few years ago, and then we found out that her husband did something. So once you know the husband did something, the husband was in nuclear energy. So actually, her teaching job was just entertainment in terms of their family financing. Mm. So, in terms of family financing, as I said, her teacher salary was just a joke. Mhm. Oh, the morning one helps you, Charles. Good. Yes. I intend to continue with that morning stream because it's helpful for me. I've discovered a lot of you also find it helpful. So we shall continue with that. We will continue with that. There are some things that make sense to any reasonable, logical person, but there's a lot of things that don't make sense, which is what is present in Ghana and in a lot of these countries that we all come from. In Ghana, you would go to Ghana, and there is a 28-year-old boy. Command of cars. Okay, it's life. No. Have money. Mm. Do his parents have money? Did he get an inheritance? This boy who owns a fleet of cars. He is himself, he has never been employed, never. He has a family with no background to give him money. Yeah. And I'm a self made woman. I am a self made one, as I always say. Those who worked with me in the early days when I used to work in the warehouses and used to work across, when I used to do silver service, there's a guy that I did silver service with in 1999. We were Glorious Goodwood together in 1999. This guy comes back. He finds me on social media and he says, I think it's you. I can't even remember what your name was, but your features are so distinct. I had to go back and dig in my archives and I found a picture and I looked at you. I think it's you. So he sends me the picture and I burst out laughing. My arm was about this big. It's me. People who were doing silver service, who were jumping in the warehouse with me, who were doing customer services with me, a lot of them knew that at that time I was a student. I was an undergrad. When I graduated and I moved and I went into other things, many of those people knew that I had moved on to graduate level work. And I was. I did that for a bit. And when I moved into teaching, many people can track that. It's easy. My trajectory across that is trackable. Mm. I am a teacher. So, yes, I am aspirational. I am very self made. And yes, you would be able to see the trajectory. There are people, the kids in my school are undergoing a very interesting transition because for the first time in a long time, the compartmentalization I did has been breached and they have found my business online. And the kids will come to me and they're like, oh, that's why. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, we've always said that you don't dress like a lot of teachers. You don't behave like a lot of teachers. When we offer food, you don't eat it. Like a lot of teachers are very, very quick to jump on free food. You don't. The way you conduct yourself and do things is a bit strange and we never understood. But now that we found your businesses online, it makes sense. It makes sense. A lot of your attitude makes sense. It must make sense. If it is legitimate, it must make sense. It should make sense from somewhere. Like I said, this 29-year-old boy in your village, his parents are dirt poor. Hmm? There's a girl who died, and I'll make a video on this separately. There's a girl who died in Ghana recently. She was shot by one of these boys again. And when she died, this girl, when you see her videos and pictures whilst they were vibing with this big boy, and when she died, her mother and grandmother had an interview. And everybody who knows the TV crew is coming to your house. You will sort out, you will find the best spot in your house. That's where you will sit. That's what all of us will do. And I was watching them having spruced up their living room. Mm. They had sorted out the sofa, but the sofa was not sofaing. What was striking was the condition of the walls behind her parents. Again, you could see that these people are poor, dirt poor. When you compare it with their daughter and the background and the life. And yes, I do know. Yeah, my mom does not live in the same quality accommodation I live in because what I make is for me and my husband to put together. I get that. But sometimes the distinctions are so sharp and the explanations are so few that you can't make it. So 27-year-old boy has a fleet of buses. How much is a bus? A Marco Polo. The last time I was in Ghana, there is somebody that I am connected to. And this person owns, they said, 6 of the Marco Polos, which are used for VIP. This was me. And I said to the person who, this distant family member I was talking to, I said to the person, you people better stop this nonsense and start telling these people the truth. You people stop shielding this nonsense. You people start telling these kids the truth. You people better do work because issues will arise. I cannot buy a Marco Polo. I cannot. I have worked decades in the workforce and God knows I've worked hard. I am very prudent financially. Yeah. I have maximized my resources but I will not be able to afford a Marco Polo. If I afford a Marco Polo, there has to be an explanation. I may have had a financier. There has to be an extra explanation. For me to buy a Marco Polo, a couple of years ago, I had one priced up for me, not because I could afford it at the time, but I fancy being able to get a bus for my tour company over time, especially when the kids graduate and we've got more leeway in our finances. So I asked a bus, a silver bird, and a Marco Polo. I was priced for. I fainted looking at the numbers. I fainted. I died on the spot looking at the cost of a silver bird and a Marco Polo. This little boy owns 6 Marco Polos. This little boy did not go to secondary school. This little boy's family are my family. We are distant family members, so they are my family. I know them. I know their background. His dad is a pupil teacher, the lowest paid of the teachers in Ghana. Even the degree teachers are not seeing much salary. So imagine the ones who are unqualified, who are living in villages like my village, teaching in my village. His mother is a stark illiterate. She sells petty things in the market. Where did this boy find his seed money? Hmm? Where did it come from? It did not come from his own employment because he's never worked. He's never worked. It did not come from an inheritance because there was no inheritance to give him. Where the hell did the Marco Polos come from? I asked. And the person I asked was, as for you, like, as for me, what? What am I asking? That is so strange, which requires this as for you nonsense. I'll tell you a story. When I was younger, this person was my father's nephew or grandnephew, something like that. He's quite direct. He wasn't very distant. This particular person was not distant at all. At that time, this person drove a red sports car. I may have been about 13, 14 at that time. My dad's family liked me a lot. The reason why they liked me was because people liked my spirit. They liked the fact that I was articulate, I was eloquent, I was very confident. I interacted and engaged with them in ways that children, greetings, Archimedes, how you doing? I interacted with them in ways that were not typical for a girl and not typical for a girl my age. They liked me. And so this family member who owned this car, when they would come and visit my dad, was very fond of me. And I was very fond of this person also. And can I also say, I was very fond of his red sports car because I did not know anybody who owned a red sports car. I fancied being able to sit in this red sports car. And he offered to take us out, maybe even take us out of town so we could go and explore and drive this car. My dad was hell to the no. Hell to the no. There was one incident in particular when this person gave me money and gave me money in a range my dad felt was unacceptable. So, right there, before everybody, my dad says, why have you given her this amount of money? And he's like, well, yeah, I don't come here often. I come here every now and again. And she's my favorite. She's my absolute favorite. And I want to spoil her. I want to give. And my dad says, no, take the money back. I was gobsmacked. Gobsmacked. Take the money back. I want this girl to use her head, he said. This girl is going to use her hands to feed herself. This girl is going to learn to do things for herself. And no, I do not want you to spoil her for me. This money you are giving her will make her think life is easy. This money you are giving her will make her want to take money from people. So hear me from my heart. I cannot let you do that. Is this man a lunatic? Somebody somebody's giving me quite a few hundred choppable dollars. And I looked at these few hundred choppable dollars and what I could have done with a few hundred, I think it was 1,000 and over, because they were $100 bills and there were quite a few. It was not one, two, three. Yeah, it was quite a few of those $100 bills. My dad gave every single one of them back and gave me $100 bill. $100 bill. That's what he gave me. And he returned everything to this family member and told him, look, it's not that I'm rejecting your gift, but this is the reason. She can have this $100. And then he turned to me and he says, even this $100, there are rules and regulations around it. Ah! My dad, to me, blooming lunatic, will not let me get rich. And this was not the only time. I can remember maybe three or four other incidences. He had a Black American friend, Uncle Ray, who also came. And Uncle Ray also gave me some money. Obviously, now I am older. I understand why my dad was like that. A lot of people, when they see pretty little girls, like to do that around them with money. When people see intelligent little girls, prospective little girls, they do that. And my dad recognized that and he wanted to curb it. But let's go back to the point for which I'm telling you this story. This family member wanted to take us, and it was a birthday party. My dad says, hell to the no. I did not go to this birthday party or anything else. After a while, and when he left, my dad came for me. Hey, this guy attacked me. And I'm like, what is your problem? I didn't beg this guy for money. You were here. I never begged him. I am not a beggar. I did not beg. I did not even solicit anything from this guy. All I did was smile and welcome and serve them drinks like I do to anybody who comes to this house. And I left. I haven't done a thing wrong. I've not put a foot wrong. He went on a whole speech about money, the fact that you've got to earn your own money. He talked about making sure your hands are clean, and blah, 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 blah. And as he carried on, even in my young mind, I realized that my dad had questions about this guy and how he made money. He lived abroad and he came periodically. When he came, he brought cars and he sold cars. When he came, he brought goods and he distributed goods. He was a distributor. So obviously, in this conversation, do you know where his money from? Yes, he sells cars. Don't we all see the car he sells? When his containers arrive and people, the wholesalers are here to take things from his containers. Don't you see? We all see. My dad says, you blooming lunatic. Do you know where the seed money comes from? That was the first recollection I have of the expression seed money. Do you know where his seed money came from? This person is my family member. I know their parents. I know all of us in our family. I know nobody gave him any seed money. He went abroad for 3 minutes and came back with seed money. Girl, it doesn't work like that. My heart was broken. The $100 bill was taken from me. The $100 bill was taken from me to be put in trust. And the trust around this $100 bill meant that I was not meeting this $100 bill in a long, 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 long time. He wouldn't even let me access this money and chop it nyafu, nyafu, nyafu with my mouth. He will not. Anyway, maybe 4, maybe 5 years. And then I realized I had not seen this family member for a while. But in my little mind, I assumed that what my dad did was probably what upset him and he no longer came. I could not bring this up and ask my dad. So my cousins are all more older than I am. My cousin, who used to be quite close to him, he often came to our house with this person. Came a visiting one time when my dad had stepped out to do something. So I went to my cousin and I said to my cousin, since that dramatic time when my dad embarrassed all of us, I've not seen this person in this house again. My cousin says, your dad was right. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, You haven't seen this person, and you probably will never see him again. I'm like, what? That was the first time I heard the word Bangkok, because nothing in my frame of reference had brought up Bangkok or Thailand to my. Who went to Bangkok and what did Thailand do? Mm? Those of you who come from where I am, you know where this is going. Oh, mm. He had obviously tried to move some things, and he had. I don't know whether he was sourcing from Bangkok, whether he was delivering to Bangkok, whether he was Bangkok was just a thoroughfare. I don't know, but somehow he got to Bangkok. And those Thai people had been aware of their movements. And when he arrived in Bangkok, they nabbed him, nabbed him. Mm, mm. So at the time when I was asking, he was well underway of the time he was going to spend in a facility in Bangkok. And yes, it was the rest of his lifetime to be spent in this facility in Bangkok with no leeway. When I was young, that was the vice. People who were lazy, people who did not want to work, they went in this direction. And yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. They went in this direction. Some of them were just transportation vessels. They found people who actually were into the thing, and they just transported it. There were some people who were a year older than me who ended up being nabbed. They were in universities. They were very loud. They they spent money. They mm. And I remember a lot of my friends at uni would tell me. So at uni, I didn't even realize it at the time, but at uni, I was a girl who earned quite a lot of money. And we would go and we would eat and we would do simple things. I was never really one for great flamboyance. And my friends would say to you, you know, these boys are just like you. They come from the UK and they come and look at how they are able to spread. Look at how they live. Look at how you also come from the UK. You bring the pound, but you do. And then, not too long afterwards, the issue went up. The boys were not working in the warehouses or doing silver service like I was in the UK. Oh, no. No. The boys were doing something else which paid more, which paid faster. Mm, mm. They were not doing this like I was. The money I was making from here, I was not willing to blow it. Yeah, we'll buy food and whatnot, the simple low hanging fruit stuff. But for the big things, that money was busy. Some of that money was going down to save a deposit for a mortgage. Some of that money was going down for all sorts of things. Some of them were going down my educational fund. So no, we were not doing. But yeah, but they come from the UK just like you, and it sounds to me like you even work more than them. So is it that you are a miser and don't want to spend? And I'm like, then it hit the fan, similar to what is happening here right now. What's happening in Ghana now? This is not the first time it's happened. Obviously, it's happening around something else. One person was nabbed from one university. That person began to spew. And as this person began to spew, the authorities in the UK discovered characters. Apparently, they had been tracking them for 18 months to 24 months. It wasn't even that. Those who would be caught, those who needed to be seen had been seen. They were just allowing them to move, to lead them to the other characters. Eventually, when they had enough information, they started rounding these boys up. All the big boys, all the Odogu, they were nabbed. They were nabbed. They went in, I think, between 5 and 10 years at that time for a lot of them. Mhm. Currently, I hear the FBI is in Ghana, and they are in Ghana ransacking the new age big boys. The new age big boys don't deal in powder. Mm-mm. No, they don't deal in white stuff. Mm-mm. No, like the other people. The business has moved on to a new domain. These new age fast boys, they, and there was a big case in Ghana over the last couple of years of a socialite, very well known socialite, who was nabbed in the UK and extradited to the US, has gone to do her time in the US and has just been deported back to Ghana. Shortly after this girl's case concluded, and I remember saying to somebody when this girl was nabbed, and I said to her, there will be blood flow. And the person says, months, no blood. I'm like, you see, sometimes you are dramatic. I'm like, okay. 1 year passed by, no blood flow. You see, sometimes you are just a doomsday prophetess. I'm like, okay, no problem. The case recently concluded. She's returned home. And it turns out that they are certainly in Ghana. And the people whose names are popping up, they are very similar to my family, distant family member in a red car. There are many boys in Ghana in yellow Lamborghinis, in blue whatever Guineas, in Mm. There's a socialite of ours who has come to give all their hang places. Yeah. She's come to give all the website addresses. You can find them in clubs. Of course, those of us who will go to work the following day don't go to clubs. Which energy would we use to go to work when we are busy in the clubs? The clubs in Ghana don't close till 7 a.m. sometimes. Ask those who go to 30 December, they'll tell you the clubs don't close. 7 a.m. is when the club is closing. And when would you make it to work? So those of us who went to work the day before and plan to go to work the next day will not be in those clubs. No, we won't. Some of these clubs are selling wine, bottles of champagne at $1,000. With whose money? Which money did you sweat for? Who has sweated for money and will be willing to pay $1,000 for what at a club for random what? Anytime I'm in Ghana, me, everybody says my fist is hard. The girls from university said that I was tight fisted. It turns out even my little nephew, who lives with my mother now, thinks I am the tightest of the fists. It's not that though. It's because the money is from here. It's from here. Hey. Yes. I am very tight fisted. Because when you have worked hard for money, when you remember the abuse you have suffered, the inconvenience you have suffered, that money is not going out frivolously for certain things. When you go to Ghana now and you see how people are spending, people are big spenders, no earnings. Or what has become the thing is the method by which they bring legitimacy to what they do. Like this boy from my village who has the 6 Marco Polos. And those of you from my village, you better keep your mouth shut too. I have 3 villages. Those on Facebook don't know which of my villages I'm referencing. Eh, I come from 3 villages and adopted villages. Okay. 6 Marco Polos. And now, when I questioned it, the person says to me, well, but they own 6 Marco Polos. Do you know how much sales they make in a day from one trip? Do you know how many trips a day the drivers make? Can you imagine his earnings in a month? I can imagine it right now. But I still ask, where did the seed money come from? And that's what a lot of these people do. A lot of these people, once they have done the funny thing, they know that questions will be raised. So they would come and start a business. Some people have wine shops. Some people have boutiques. When you go to Accra, you see a lot of them. Posh fronts, storefronts in very affluent areas. But you don't see customers come to the shops, you know. When I'm in Accra, I cause problems. I was asking my friend, I've been here for a while. Oh, we've run past this store many times. So, have you seen a single customer enter? Hey, no customers. Mm. They will bring 40 feet containers and they will bring it to public places full of shoes, full of bags. And the distributors will come and take these things. So later, when this person releases a new car, it's not strange because you all saw the 40 feet containers. There were 12 of them. Okay, where did the money come from when this person is just a clerk in a government institution? Where did the seed money come from? Mm? But we don't ask those questions, so we allow people to clean these things easy. So, one of the things I heard, and the reason why I actually want to do this, is for those of you who are living in places like me, you are broke. You have a British bank account or you have an American bank account. You are broke. You are probably in your overdraft. You are not able to pay, blah, 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 blah. Joseph, who is your cousin, and you haven't spoken to Joseph for years, or maybe you went to kindergarten with him. Akimidi Sosai, and maybe you met him somewhere. Akimidi suddenly comes to you and says, Amma, I want you to buy a car. Here, I get it a lot. Amma, I want you to buy a car in Dubai for me. I'm like, okay. I will find you a car dealership. Me, I will. And I will get you to deal with a car dealership. Your money is not turning up in my bank account. Me, my bank account. It will never happen. And a few people have been very mad with me. I'll send you the money and you can send it to the. No, don't send it to me. No, no, no. Send it directly to the car dealership. Hmm? Pay for it in the car dealership. And I will help you find a shipper. Hmm? I've done it for quite a few people. I'll find you a shipper. And the money you want to pay the shipper, it's not coming to me. I am not taking your dime. Send your money straight to the car shipper. Mm. Let the shipper ship to you and let the transactions be dealt with that way. My bank account. I'm, your children are now in the UK in university. And I'm like, fabulous, wunderbar. You know how the school fees thing works. Eh? If we pay to the naira, the money, Ama, I can send the money to you now, and then you use your card to pay the school. Me, my bank account, Mba. Me myself, I'm already past the tax thresholds, and I'm paying advanced tax. Mm, mm. My bank already knows the businesses I run, and they have an idea of my revenue. They know how much comes in through my business. Mm. When I'm paid by Google, they should see a receipt that says the money came from Google. Oh. When I'm paid by Facebook, they should see somewhere that says the money is paid by Facebook. Oh. When it comes from my business and the money comes from Stripe, mm, they should see that somebody bought something on Stripe. Stripe processed the payment, and Stripe has sent me my $150, my $400, whatever. And then they should see repeated amounts of people buying stuff and be that adds up. That is what is supposed to happen in my bank account too. Recently somebody says that they can, I'm going to need something, you know I can put 30,000 pounds in your account. You can even use it to pay the children's school fees, and then later me or more pay what with what with your one naira is not ending up in my bank account. This is what I want to talk to you about. This operation in Ghana has now spiraled worldwide and is beginning to wreak havoc on stupid people who did not understand the game. Stupid folk. Stupid folk. Can you guys wait? It is, they think, as bad as it looks. Okay. All right. So it wasn't the thing that was bad. It is the reception on this thing. Okay, fine. You know, they started picking these people up and they are backtracking a lot of these monitorings all the way till 2013. So this somebody shared with me recently is an issue from 2013. Somebody asked them to buy a car for them from the States. It was a Toyota Highlander. It's a Highlander. No, it's a Nissan Highlander. A Highlander is a Nissan, isn't it? Whatever it is. A Highlander. Brand new at the time. Went to the showroom and bought it. They have the receipt of buying the car in the showroom. They have the receipt of shipping the car from the showroom. They have the name of the person they shipped to, which strategically was not the person who did the money. But then the person is now in custody. You know why? Because the original source of the money is problematic. Yeah, they were given $2,000 as a gift to help their nephews. That's what they got, $2,000. And this person is staring down 10, 15 years in for moving money in a way he did not even know that he was involved in. To him, he was buying a car for somebody. No, you are not a car dealership. Oh. Mm. Don't be in a hurry to be buying cars for people. Mm. These days, there's Visa and MasterCards everywhere, and everybody can do money transfer. If they genuinely can send the money to your bank account, they can also send the money to the car dealer's bank account. You know why they don't want to send the money to the car dealer's bank account? I'm not the one to say it, but you know. When you exercise your brain, you will know why they don't want to send the money to the car dealership directly and they want you to be doing it. Mm, mm. I'm making this video because I want you, the idiot who would be caught by these things. It is you I am worried about. I don't want you to be caught by some of these stupid things. I do not want you to end up in these places. I don't want you to foolishly, for the sake of a few $1,000, because you are broke, because you are hungry, eh, to quickly agree to be helping people, to be doing this, that, and the other, only for you to end up a decade and more later answering questions about things you don't even understand. When they finally tracked the car was sent apparently to a dealer. The car was never registered in this person's name who sent the money. That makes it very difficult for you to excuse yourself. Mm? And ignorance is not an excuse before the law. Stupidity is not even excused. How much more ignorance? Mm. This person, who is an accountant, has now found themselves dealing with an issue that would make their employment very difficult even when this concludes. They anticipate anything between 5 and 15 years would be this person's conviction. And they are going through it, it's about to conclude, it's not quite done, but they are going to get that time. And the accusation is ML. Do you know what that is? Mm. There are some things on these social media platforms you can't say, but hopefully you would know what ML is. How many of you are on? Who knows what ML is? Yeah. Uh, they are going in for ML charges. And nothing and nobody can do much to help him. His lawyers have explained to him they, that he puts himself in a position that makes it difficult for anybody, really, to help him. At the moment, what they are trying to do is reduce they just want to reduce his liability. Okay. His lawyers have told him there's not much anybody can really do to help him. Where we are at, it is a case of making sure that they do everything they can to limit what is done to them and for them. And that's the issue. I agree to all of you. I want you to be aware of this wave which is sweeping. I want you to be mindful of anything that is too fast to explain. Mm. These funny favors that people, especially when you help me move money. I will not recommend that you help anybody move nothing. Don't help anybody. They will call you names. It's fine. Let them call you. Whatever names they call you is end. Let them call you. They will get over it. They will say that you are selfish and you are greedy and you are unhelpful. That's true. But it's better to be helpful, to be selfish, to be greedy, and to have your liberties and freedoms. I will talk about these big boys a little bit more. But this first one, I decided to focus it on you watching me and the things that I want you to be aware of, the vigilance that you should actually be operating with. And can you also share this video with your children? I've got two young adult children who are very naive, who don't understand these things. And I've had to, hi, good vibes. It's good to see you. So I need to understand, I need to explain to my children, my son in particular, he is so patriotic and he wants to help our boys, the international students. Mm. But no, an international student cannot be receiving money in your bank account. Too. They're entitled to own a bank account themselves in the UK. They can have one and they should receive their money there. And if they don't want to receive their money there, it can be paid directly to the university. No, you are not a money exchange service. You are not a money transfer system. You are nothing. The only money that should attend your bank account is one that comes from places you have worked and from me and your dad. That's a conversation me and the kids have had to have. Mm. Oh, let's put it in your account. And tell your children, let nobody put nothing in their accounts that they cannot explain. Because later, when somebody is tracking these things, you might put yourself in the firing line. In the days when the problem used to be white, mm, there's a friend of mine who found herself having traveled with the white stuff without knowing. And it was from this same thing. She was going to the UK. Somebody said that they would bring food for her to transport for them. When you are going, you don't have a lot of things. When you are coming, you bring a lot of things. So when she was going, the person the person says, to help you, I'll pay 50% of your ticket. So the person paid 50% of her ticket, which was great because it allowed her to save 50% of her ticket. That was now going to be in her pocket money. And it seemed like a great idea. So the person, yeah, Tony, the person bought half of her ticket and the person got them to bring fish, Kobe. Those of you who are from Ghana, Kobe is tilapia, but it's salted tilapia, dry salted. And it is typical when Kobe is salted, they leave the salt in the head. So that's how they do it. They remove the gills, or sometimes they don't even remove it. And they pack salt to salt, and then they dry the Kobe. That's how Kobe is preserved. So when you buy Kobe, you expect to see things in the head. And this idiot, when the Kobe was brought, because she was busy, the person says, don't worry. I will have them wrap it. I have everything done for you. Don't worry. So guess what? She didn't worry. Mm. She did not worry. The Kobe was brought. It was packaged for her. She went to the airport. There were two suitcases. one for her and one for, because there was two suitcases, one for her and one for this person. So when they brought it, she just checked in and phew, to the UK. A person was supposed to meet her at the airport and collect the suitcase and potentially take her home where she was going. So she hadn't even made arrangements, travel arrangements, because this person would meet her. When she got to the airport, she called this person. She stayed at the airport maybe 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. This person, finally, when you ring them, it went straight to voicemail. When you ring them, it went to voicemail. Then she tried to call the person who had sent the items. Look, it went to voicemail. So eventually, what could she do? She found her way. She was living with a friend. She found her way to the friend's house. Oh, there's 20 in the chat. Ah, Tony. Oh, okay, I've now seen the chats were not appearing here. Now they have. Eventually, she makes it to the friend who was hosting her. She tells the friend of this inconvenience of this bag that was supposed to have been picked up at the airport, but the person didn't pick. That evening, the person didn't come. The following day, the person didn't come. The third day, the hostess says, listen, you know the way our things, I'm very sure this thing contains meat. And if we leave the meat wrapped up, by the time these people come to collect their thing, it will go bad. So this is what I suggest we do. Let's open the things and dry them and preserve them. When they come, I will explain that I said that we should do this. And it made sense. So my friend agreed. She got scissors and they got into the Kobe. Remember, this one was living by herself in London. My friend is the rookie who has come live with her. The girl opened the thing. Whoa! Jesus Christ. She started screaming. And she asked my friend, who the hell did you say gave you these things? My friend narrated the story. And she says, Aye, you have killed me. You have killed me, because when they opened the Kobe was white inside. White pellets. But again, as a girl who lived in London, and they lived on the funny side in the south, understood what happened on the streets a lot more than the carrier. So she quickly took all these things straight to the toilet and went to tip all of them down the toilet, because she realized that her friend had been allowed through as a monitoring effort. She knew that whatever she had in her package had been spotted, and she knew that they had intentionally let it through as tracking, and she was not going to let the tracking happen, leading to her and her little beautiful life that she's trying to build. She lost her marbles, wrapped everything, and chugged them all, packaged all, and then explained what it was to my friend, who was at this point in hysterics. In hysterics. 3 days later, she had gone to work, the hostess. My friend was in the flat. Boom! The door is open. It was a trap. Of course, it was a trap. Boom! The door opens. They come in, dogs and all. Dogs, they do their thing. Mm. And they find the Kobe. The dogs go mad over the Kobe. And they go mad in the toilet and nowhere else. Mad where the Kobe was. Mad in the toilet. So they pull my friend. At this point, I'm sure she pulled herself a few times. And they asked, when did you arrive? She told them when she came. "Ah, what are these things?" And she says, hey, these things were given to me. Oh, look, let me show you. Oh, hey. This person, this person, it wasn't even text messages at that time, it was emails and stuff. The person had sent an email with the code to the money transfer, blah, blah. She's like, look, this is what happened. Oh, this is what happened. And yes, my friend found these things and she put them all down the toilet. She put them all down the toilet 3 days ago. Hey, baby. That's when they explained to her, yeah, they came with her from the airport. They came with her from the airport. They were sitting outside the house monitoring. They had been tracking her phone calls, trying to reach who was supposed to collect. And they told her who was supposed to collect actually came to the airport. When the deal backscattered, the person saw that the deal had backscattered. And that's when the person turned their phone off and they run. But obviously, they followed that person also. They let her come because they wanted to know who the wider network was. And they gave her the bollocking of her life. And fortunately for her, this time, by the quick action of the other girl who was a little streetwise, hmm, this idiot got themselves scot free because that situation could easily have also found her in very, very hot waters. These are conversations that you should have with your young people, especially me. My kids are backpackers. They backpack when they are here and when they are going. They've shipped everything they need in the UK and they keep it in the UK. And when they come here, they leave things here. So they backpack. And I have had a very serious word with them about, can you check this in for us? No, no, they check in nothing for nobody. Can you hold um, this September? I was going to Ghana for my cousin's funeral. Tony, this life, there are so many things in this life which require knowing. I was going to Ghana and I met a lady who is a fan of the page and she was trying to get through with her luggage. Obviously, I have nothing. And she wanted me to help her to try and get her luggage through. At the time, I can't remember how much I had, maybe $50 or $100. So in the end, I was trying to give her that money to use to pay because her luggage was in excess, obviously. And I was more interested in trying to give her the money to pay for the excess luggage. And she doesn't want to take my money. And I'm trying to sensitize this lady to understand that's what I am able to do to help. That's all I can do to help. Yeah, you've got to be very careful in these situations, especially if you travel the way I travel. Uh, when you know our peoples and you are sympathetic to our people as we are, makes no sense that I would travel with no checked in when somebody is busy struggling. So yeah, you want to take it. That in itself is not a problem. Oh, hey, but human being is a dangerous thing. Anyway, I wanted to create that awareness in the first place. I'll come back and I'll do some more work. And then I'll come back and I'll explain the big boy culture that is actually very systemic and endemic in our communities. Mm, mm. A hoo fan club, a hoo big boy club, a hoo keep fit club. They have been around for a long time, but the members of those things are not teachers. Yes. The owners of the local legitimate businesses do not make it easy. And some of these people, they run money places and they come and open a radio station or a TV station or whatever. And as soon as the radio station or the TV station is successfully opened, well, that's the cleaning technique, isn't it? That legitimizes everything else for us. They will open a wine shop, a boutique, now a spa. Mhm. But the business done in these facilities does not match the income that you observe in some of these places. These are interesting. Some of us, we need to educate our children, so they don't mistakenly become the spouses of these people. Oh, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. It's scary, isn't it? It's very scary. It's very scary. I just want to put this out here as a teaser first. I'll let you guys respond, mm, and then we will continue the series. But the big boy phenomena, the Odogu phenomena, we will discuss it. Agbabola, how much is money? Those of us who work for money, we know how much it is. Those of us who work for the money, we know the back we broke for that penny. Agbabola, how much is money? We don't sing that song. Balling, balling, premium or nothing. Now you know. Let me tell you, those of us who work, this is my level of premium. So I have a trip coming up. That trip coming up, I didn't pay for my ticket and I didn't pay for my accommodation. That trip is not paid for by MOA. So this is what is happening. Those of you who are in Zurich, let me know, and Frankfurt, let me know. When I get to Zurich, instead of sitting in the blooming airport for hours, I'm going to check out of Zurich Airport and I'm going to ride an air car. I'm going to jump on their water and do some Zurich nonsense for maybe $200 maximum. My budget for that Zurich stop, $200. And when you see me doing that $200, no, balling, balling, premium or nothing. Yes, premium $200 or nothing because I didn't pay for the rest. Now you know. No. Mm-mm. Yeah. When I stop in Frankfurt, I may have enough time to pop into the local Ghana shop or Ghana restaurant in Frankfurt and go do some yanga Frankfurt. And then again, Frankfurt, my budget is less because Frankfurt is a city I know already. I don't intend to do no tourism in Frankfurt. I just intend to do proper eating with some chili side. Yeah, it has to be spicy food. $100 maximum in Frankfurt. That is how I do premium or nothing. Mm. When I'm paying for the flight and I'm paying for the hotel, we don't do that kind of premium. Yeah, we'll do the hotel and we'll do the flight, and then we'll eat kinky that night. That's how those of us who Agbabola, how much is money? I know how much money costs. Now you know. Yeah, Tony. Rich property business. I still ask the question, where did the seed money come from? That's always the question. It doesn't matter what the cleanup system is. The seed money is where the question comes from. I've told you guys of a friend who is in moving, buying and selling. Again, when this one takes her stuff home, she will take maybe 6 40 feet containers. And another friend of ours asked her how much money she started her business with, and she said $5,000. This idiot went, raised the money, and sent his wife to come to Dubai to come. Obviously, when they got here, his wife realized the actual reality of what happened in Dubai. She is an honest Christian wife. She didn't want to do. And because she didn't want to do, she fell foul of this other one, does not want her to look down on her, having explained everything. So eventually, she runs to me. I go shopping with this idiot. We buy everything and make sure everything we buy, I clipped the receipts and I clipped the receipts and I clipped the receipts and I sent her home with it. A few suitcases. Her husband saw the suitcases and lost his rack. What the hell? Your fellow woman started the same business with $5,000, and she goes to Dubai and returns 40 feet containers, sometimes multiple 40 feet containers. I have found you the same money to go with the same person to go and bring the thing. And this girl doesn't know how to explain to her husband. She doesn't know how to tell her husband. This man was onto her case. This man was harassing her. So one day she got fed up and she says, ask your friend. Ask your friend. I went with her. So he calls me. He says, my wife is useless. I'm like, hey, what did your wife do to be useless? Can you imagine? So I asked, when she came, did she give you the receipts? Because I asked her to give you the receipts. Did she give you the receipts? Yeah. Did you check the unit prices? Yeah. Were we undercharged anywhere or overcharged anywhere? Yeah. No. Does the receipt add up to $5,000? Have you done the conversion? Yes. So what the hell are you on about? Well, such a body. Shut the hell up, because you don't know how such a body gets her goods. She explained to your wife. Your wife is a faithful woman. She chose not to do it. Your wife, knowing you were this stupid, could easily have gone along and done the other one and come back and watched her mouth, which is what most of them do. Go back to your wife and ask your wife. Tell your wife that I asked you to come back and she better tells you the truth. So he does. And she tells him. That's when he's back to here. Oh my God. Oh my God. The 40 feet container was never bought by $5,000. What they do pays for the goods in the container. Sometimes what they do even pays for the shipping. The $5,000 they come with becomes, they don't even pay for hotel. No, what they do pays for all those things. And then the things are shipped. If you do well, they send you with more stuff. And when they bring the things, this one, when she brings the things to Accra, she intentionally brings it to public spaces. And she intentionally has all the wholesalers come to bid. The minute people will be there before the containers are open. When the containers are open, this person is grabbing this person is grabbing that. And she sells them for cheap because she never bought them. She never bought them. Whatever money she's able to make from those containers is just cleanup. The container is just a legitimization process, it's just a white washing process. So everybody in Accra knows her as a very good businesswoman. Everybody knows. Sister Joyce, everybody knows that she does good business. They are all witnesses to the 5, 6, 7, 10, 40 feet containers she brings in a consignment. They all see her sell those things and they see her take money from the people who come and buy these things. What they don't know is that the money she takes will not even be able to afford one more 40 feet container. The money she makes is not enough for what she sells. But she doesn't care, does she? Whatever she makes is a bonus. Yeah, and comparatively, that's actually quite a decent amount in her hand. What actually brings the goods and what she does, what she brings in return, they are not the same. I was in my club meeting this week, and a girl made a speech, and her speech was about McDonald's, and she explains McDonald's is successful not because of the burgers they sell. It's business. Most of you don't know. I didn't know. I've gone to look it up subsequently. It's true. McDonald's is a successful business because of their real estate invest, not from the burgers they sell. How many of you will walk by McDonald's and will understand that they are a real estate business? You won't. Because all you see is that they sell burgers and Mac this and Mac that. But their revenue is not from Mac nothing. Their revenue is not from Mac nothing. Majority of their revenue is from the rents that they charge. Who me out. And maybe it's a good time for me to just wrap this up. Let me just say things are not the way they look when you are half blind. Mm. When you look at things from angles, they may not seem to you the way they really are. Uh, you will see businesses and you will make certain assumptions about businesses. Six Marco Polos, so it makes sense he is rich. This person is just a nurse, so and they suddenly built a community school. Do I need to say more? Let me wrap this one up. I'll see you guys when we are done. Or I'll see you later on in the day.